Wolves 2, Palace 0. Once again, a disappointing defeat, John. I really don't know what to say at this point. 7 losses in a row. Didn't create much going forward. I guess the only positives were Mitchell starting and Jeffrey Schlupp on the left-hand side. What do you make of the game?
Yeah, I think disappointing is the wrong word because it was very predictable. So you can't be that disappointed, but it's just very flat, I would say. It was good to see Schlupp in particular back after quite a long time out. I think he does give us something a bit different, a bit of drive from midfield. I mean, yeah, it was great to see Mitchell start the game, even though it was very enforced on Roy, I would say. I actually thought the first 40 odd minutes were decent, like not that exciting, but we, played to our strengths. We played what we're good at, being very compact. It was quite good to see Zaha through the middle. I thought he held the ball up quite well, actually, and did look after it and even beat a couple of men. But when you got to half time, I think we had one shot on target, which was basically some dead Andros Townsend free kick. Then you go, well, hold on, have we really been doing that much?
Yeah. Of course, before halftime, we conceded that disappointing goal. It was, Andros gives the ball away right outside our box. And then Adama Traore, who did have a very good game against Mitchell. And what do you make of Mitchell's performance today? Lots of fans been calling for him to come and start. He started, of course, against a very hard opponent. I think he struggled. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think he struggled a bit, but to be fair, he's against one of the informed wingers in the league, who I think a lot of fullbacks are going to struggle against. I thought when Schlupp was doubling up quite a lot in the kind of first part of the game, he was doing well, but as soon as he was kind of left on his own a bit, he really did struggle. But still, I think it was right to give him the game and right to give him the next game as well, and let him sort of develop and blossom. And not everyone's going to come in and be an absolute superstar from day one. That's for sure.
Yeah, not everyone's going to be Aaron Wan-Bissaka straight away. I think our expectations have altered after what we saw against Wan-Bissaka, and that's just 1 in a billion, not even a million. Getting that lucky, having all them injuries, and then having an academy player come up like that. So of course, Mitchell deserves more game time. But I just have to ask this question now. Looking ahead, there isn't really much game incidents to talk about. We didn't really create that many chances. Of course, we conceded a poor second goal. But the question now lies on Roy Hodgson. 7 losses in a row. Where do you see his future at Palace? Do you think he even has a future at this point?
Yeah, it's a real tough one because I think if things have been different, so let me put it this way: we were safe after the Bournemouth game and more, by far. We were probably safe before lockdown. If we'd have been like at this stage fighting relegation, the fix would have been mixed around. Maybe say we play Bournemouth next game and or do a Brighton and just get safe today. We'd be really happy and we'd be thinking, yeah, Roy's done a good job. So there's a little bit our expectations have changed because we were safe for quite a long time ago and we might be getting to Europe after we beat Bournemouth. So there is that, but equally, this sort of deflation around the club, and it's hard because we're not at the ground. That feeling we have is all very virtual and kind of maybe a bit individualized, but definitely on social media or kind of people I know and talk to, there's definitely a feeling of deflation. And that's a difficult thing to maintain because when you look at the players, who's going to make us play better? Who's going to come in and make us play better? How are we going to be winning games in September, October? Because what we don't want to do is go into the season and be basically relegation fodder from day one because we've got no spark or no sort of way of playing really. Honestly, how are we going to score goals? I can't even think, apart from Zaha hitting a 30-yard screamer. It doesn't, we don't seem to have a system that enables our good players to do what they can do well. So I'm kind of avoiding the question a bit, I know, but yeah, I'm a bit on the fence because I do have a lot of respect and love for Roy and what he's done for us and really considering how it was when he took over to now where we're kind of in a luxury position about talking about getting rid of a manager, not because he's relegated us, but because we just want a bit more ambition and a bit more flair. Having said all of that, when you look at managers across the piece and you see what Chris Wilder's done at Sheffield or Nuno's done at Wolves, and there is a bit of I think sometimes people think about Palace, small clubs don't have much money. We spend a lot of money. We just don't spend it on transfer fees. We spend it on wages instead. But we're not a small club in how much money we spend or are prepared to spend. So I kind of think it probably is the time to be looking at other managers. But what I pray is they don't do what sometimes happens to Palace, which is like we get to the start of the season or a day before the season, and we're suddenly like scrambling around what we're going to do. We sort of are really thinking now who's going to take us forward, who can take us forward, and put it in place from now. And say thank you very much, Roy. You know, you've done a great job. You've been an absolute superstar to this club, and let's sort of do it properly, not wait till 5 games into the season we lose the next 5 games and everyone's on his back and everyone sort of forgets all the good stuff he's done.
Yeah, you pretty much summed it up there, even though you said it in a very nice way, because you said that you was on a fence. Yeah, I guess you're right out by what you said at the last sentence. But yeah, there's been nothing going forward. I mean, what we've been good at defending, we haven't since the restart, we've conceded 17 goals in how many games? In 7 or 8 games. So I think it's just been poor. But before I let you go, can I have if you had to pick one player, who would be on Palace Man of the Match today?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me this because you always ask, but it's really hard. I think Sloot probably. Like, I don't think he had a perfect game. He was probably a little bit at fault for their first goal, and he faded quite a lot after the first probably even the first half an hour. But I think he gave a bit of drive. He was one player getting ahead of the strikers, so I'd give it to him.
Okay, Jeffrey Slop it is. Thank you for joining me, John. As always, leave down your comments down below. Let us know what you think about the game, and until next time, up the Palace.